What's up, Kara?
What's up? What's up?
All right.
Let's see if
You
your
gotta.
co-host comes on. I just sent the invite,
Okay.
and I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can set up Vivore. I got a message from them saying that shouldn't happen again. So I'm gonna try it right now. So we'll let people join in for the next few minutes, and I'm gonna go ahead and set up Vivore right now.
Cool.
It's gonna be a good, happy Wednesday. Love it. How's your day been so far, Juan?
Happy Hump Day. It's been great. It's been great. I every Wednesday. I don't know if I've shared this with you. Every Wednesday is my. I get to go see my favorite yogi instructor. His name's Chip. So
Mm-hmm.
Chip gets me going in the morning, and every time I see him, I think of. You ever seen the movie Talladega Nights, the Ballad of Ricky Bobby with
I haven't
Will
seen it.
Ferrell? No. Oh my God. Okay. Well, if you haven't seen it, I can't quote anything from the movie, but it's one of my favorite movies with Will Ferrell. But yeah, so Chip is my yoga instructor, and I always get the day started right on Wednesdays.
What do you guys do together?
But he runs a yoga class. So I go to a yoga studio, and we get in. It's a vinyasa flow. So typically, I'm the only dude up in there, and it's not a big class. There's about typically maybe 10 people that join the class, and I'm typically the only one that can do a headstand though, so
Oh,
that makes me feel cool.
I bet.
But it's me and a bunch of ladies. Today was just me, and yeah, there was around like seven other people in the class, so
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Very, very cool.
He's a really good instructor. He's done a lot of plant medicine work, and we're actually going to do a couple things together. But I feel the yogi instructor is super important to get your practice in. So it's very connected, and because I've been doing it for about a year and a half at that same yoga studio. But I just discovered him. He just became an instructor there. I want to say like 3 4 months ago. But yeah, it's beautiful. So it's a great way to get Wednesday started for sure. How's your day been?
It's been great. So I decided to surprise my son. Okay, so a few days ago, I went to one of his football games and I brought a really good one of those telephoto lens cameras and got the best pictures of him playing football. I took 600 photos of him. And
What?
I had three photos developed that are really beautiful. And then I got a frame where I could put three 5x7 photos side by side in a frame. And I framed it. I just have to hang it on the wall, and he'll have beautiful football pictures of him that we can put on the wall. I'm really excited.
Love that. I don't think you've ever shared. What position does he play?
So he actually got his position changed. He
Okay.
was doing defensive end, and now he is some he Julius, what's your position? Something tackle. I don't know.
Defensive tackle. Okay. Yeah. So he was playing on the outside. Nice playing on the inside. He's a big kid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's gonna be, I guess, blocking on one of the sides of the quarterback. I don't know how
Oh,
that
okay.
works.
Offensive line. O line. Okay.
Yeah,
Awesome.
he's being moved from defense to offense. So this is gonna be very different. I'm excited for him though, and these pictures of him, they're so close up that you can see his expressions on his face and everything.
Taking
So,
600 pictures, man. So
oh yeah.
that's a real mom represent right there.
Oh, I'm obsessed with my son. I love it. And he didn't even know I was there. I did it incognito, so I have really good authentic pictures of him.
Oh,
I
he's
love it.
lucky to have you. That's awesome. That's super
Yeah,
cool.
I just love them to death. Oh, we got Kaspa Funding who wants to speak. I went ahead and approved him for a speaker. Before we get into the speakers, I one thing that Juan and I want to discuss is the elephant in the room that we can see on our timeline. So we want to kind of just address some of the FUD and give some thoughts and even some encouragement because I know that right now that seems to be everywhere I turn. And I know I'm not the only one. I know there's a lot of people who are seeing it and experiencing it. And I think the reason that we're seeing so much of this right now is that we just had the launch of smart contracts and everyone was hopeful that the price would just skyrocket immediately. And instead, what we've seen is downward price pressure. We've seen stress tests that have been record breaking. And people have been pointing out that, yeah, we're breaking these records, but are we using it? And Juan brought up some good points earlier when he and I were talking about, well, what are we comparing Caspa to? Because if we're going to look at the usefulness and how people are using Caspa, we can't just look at its own chart. We need to actually compare it to the big boys. Do you have those numbers with you, Juan?
Yeah, I do, and I think this is super important to always keep in perspective, right? One of the sayings that you hear quite a bit is whenever these things come up is zoom out, right? You can do that with, I'm not a big chart guy or a price guy. I'm in this for the sound money principles of what Caspa brings to the table. If Caspa didn't exist, I'd probably be a Bitcoin only guy, but I would not classify myself as a maxi, because I've shared this before. I did well in the fiat world, but I know what that took and what it took out of me, right? So for me, this is such a long play that I sometimes you brought it up. Hey, there's some FUD going on. I'm like, okay, yeah. I feel like there's typically always some sort of FUD, but you're right. There's a little bit more because all these new things are coming out, and people expect things to happen right here, right now. And that I think. So a big part of that I think is just human nature. So we naturally just want things to happen right now, and that's never how anything good happens. So you take a look at, and I do think Bitcoin is the measuring stick, right? That's who you want to like take a look at everything that Bitcoin had to go through over 16 years and where it was 3, 4 years in. And I know the arguments out there like, oh, you can't compare Bitcoin. Oh, please. The foundational principles of what Caspa brings to the table, decentralized proof of work, bounded by energy, in a completely evolutionary DAG structure that just takes it to a whole nother level. I think it's important to just the foundational principles of what Caspa brings to the world, that hasn't changed and it's only gotten better. But yeah, it's really easy to get caught up in the energy of what's happening right now, or oh, this should go up, or the price, why isn't it reflecting? Just go back and look at history. So yeah, what I shared with you, Cara, was I have this chart, and I look at bitinfocharts.com, and you can pull up a bunch of the different cryptos out there. So I have Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, Dogecoin up, and it shows the transactions that all these chains do on a 24-hour basis. So we all know that Bitcoin at the base layer is maxed out at about 600,000, 708,000, maybe max. But I look at this every single day to kind of take a look at what these chains are doing on a daily basis, right? And we all know with Caspa, we recently did the stress test and did 158 million transactions. And again, there's no marketing team behind Caspa. We're the marketing team. We're the ones that are going to get the word out. And you got to understand some of these chains like XRP, that's all marketing. That's and it's just really important to give it perspective. So, Bitcoin did 400,000 transactions. I mentioned Ethereum, I think, is a good measuring stick of what a chain that's been around since what 2015, 2016. They did 1.6 million, XRP 600,000, Litecoin 180,000. But then you look at like Bitcoin Cash, 18,000, Dogecoin, 47,000. And again, Caspa's only been rolled out, right? There's a lot of research and development over the course of many years, but literally we're about to turn 4 on November the 7th. And just give it that perspective, right? There isn't we're still crawling here. And there's so much innovation happening that you just always have to zoom out and take a look at the whole picture. And fundamentally nothing has changed. If anything, it should be even more exciting with what is being rolled out and how it's being rolled out, and what the opportunities and the possibilities are for Caspa. So yeah, the chart that I look at, it's bitinfocharts.com, and it shows all of these different projects and where they're at and transactions on a daily basis.
I'm glad you mentioned that. I've never heard of it. I have it up right now. I'm looking at it. This is a wealth of information. I'm really glad that you
Right?
mentioned this. Yeah. I also want to mention I had heard someone, I wish I could credit them, but I don't remember where I heard this from. But they were saying that they think that the reason why that the price has remained low and hasn't pumped the way that we've all wanted is because usually when smart contracts come out for any coin, people want to use their existing currency to buy the coins that are being made with the new layer twos or the new smart contracts, whatever they put out. So it's possible that the reason that our price is not pumping the way that people want is that people are using their Caspa to buy layer two coins right now. And that could be a possibility. We do see there is more usage. We're just not seeing the price pump. But but here's the thing though. We're not seeing the price dump. We're just seeing it not pump. There's a difference. So
Right.
it's not as if it's crashing and dumping. We're just not seeing the pump. And most people want to see that. They want to see this big jump. But the thing is, Caspa is built different. We're going to have a pump one day, but the thing is we're doing that slow climb. This is a marathon. And usually if something pumps really high, there's usually a big crash. There's usually a rug pull. There's a dump. That's not happening here. We have something
Right.
really stable, right?
Yeah, and I want to add this, right? This is, I know a lot of people like to compare past cycles to what's happening now, and I can say this: I've really studied the macro scene very heavily over the past year and a half. So I'm pretty familiar with what's happened in past cycles, and this has been different, right? This is the first crypto. So there's some things that I think are important to keep in perspective. This is the first cycle where crypto isn't trying to be silenced, right? There is. So if you look at it from a political standpoint, right, there's a lot of things that are positive for crypto, so that creates this sense of, well, why isn't it pumping, right? So that kind of contributes to the whole, well, it should be going up, right? But if you take a look at some of the macro information. So I look at the inevitable, the big elephant in the room is, hey, they're gonna have to print, right? We again, what Bitcoin and Caspa measure is the free market. So as long as these protocols stay central, or as long as these protocols stayed decentralized and secure, they're literally polar opposites. They're mirrors of what the current system that prints money and creates inflation and debases the money, debases the currency. For the U.S., for example, is $36 trillion in debt, and by the end of this year, we got to figure out how to refinance 9.2 trillion. That's coming up. So there's all these little games being played within the system that is being held off. There's a lot of things playing out right now that we don't have any control of, but the inevitable fact is that in order to keep that system going, they have to print money, right? And what ends up happening with Bitcoin and what ends up happening with Casper, because again, the foundational principles of what this protocol is, it's going to measure that in nominal terms. And there is going to be, again, I haven't been around for People talk about what happened in 2017, right? But and then again, what happened again in 2021 with these crazy ridiculous pumps. There's so much manipulation happening within the markets, and again, some of this is political and all that, but they have to print money, they have to refinance the debt that's coming due, and that is inevitably going to have protocols specifically like Bitcoin and Caspa. We don't even know what's going to happen. It could be even crazier than what it's been in the past. So I think that's really important to keep in mind too. And again, this is a long game, right? So I'm not a trader. I know there's traders out there, but this is literally about preserving my purchasing power, preserving my purchasing power long term. So I know that, and I think it's important to really remember that these protocols are literally measuring the free market. We've never had this. And again, Bitcoin is a perfect example of what's going to play out with Caspa. It is designed, the fiat system is designed to go, the dollar is designed to lose its value over time. Inevitably, it's going to happen, right? The dollar's lost 99.9% of its value over 100 years. And these protocols in nominal terms are capturing what, 500-600 trillion of capital of what we call money. So this is just a matter of time. And I know that to my core studying this. So it's that this is inevitable. It's what's going to happen.
Thank you for sharing that, Juan. And I just want to say, I realize there's someone that's requested to speak and others may too. We will be opening the floor to speakers, but first, I really just want Juan and I to just kind of talk about this and just kind of lay the foundation of what we want to bring, because we have our own energies we want to bring to the space. And we will be opening the floor to others to give their perspectives, including if they're different. But for right now, I just wanted to say that. So I'm going to just kind of go back and forth with Juan for a little bit and then we'll open the floor. Juan, you've raised some really good perspectives on what you said about, these trillions of dollars of things, the printing of money that we're going to be expecting, things that are happening behind the scenes that are out of our control. These are real things that are happening. My question right now is, how do you feel about the near future of Caspa? What are your thoughts on that?
See, I think it's always tough to measure what's going to happen. So you're asking specifically like in nominal terms, like what's going to happen with the price action, or what's going to happen with what's going on with our development and what we're rolling out. What do you mean by that?
Well, I think part of it is that I'm getting a lot of questions from people. They seem as though there's a sense of needing to know what's going to happen. None of us have a crystal ball. None of us can just say this is going to happen. All we have are indicators, right? And I think what you bring, Juan, I think what you bring to the table that I really enjoy is you kind of give a sense of reality meets optimism, right?
Gotcha.
You're not putting false ideas in people's heads and giving false hope. You're showing reality. But I also think people need to feel that optimism as well, because I'm seeing a lot of pessimism, especially from people who expected more, even though they're not really considering other factors. And that's why I'm wondering if there's anything you might be able to shed light on that might bring comfort to people who have
Yeah,
put their investment
gotcha.
in this.
Yeah, gotcha. I think this is it's a great topic to speak on. And so here's, whenever there's so much, we call it FUD, right? Uncertainty, or people are questioning things. I see that as an opportunity to dig deeper. And I see those as signals. And I take that into my life too, right? Just the way I live my life. And this is why I've decided to participate in these conversations. And I'm open to serving and being here, because I do believe that I benefited in that other fiat system. I literally look at what I was able to find some success in with generating fiat, but then learning at the core what I happened to accomplish. And then, I've shared on previous spaces that we've done. I'm not sure if I've done, we've only had one episode, but one of the biggest beautiful blessings that I received in studying all this, as crazy as it may sound, is that I was able to finally understand the struggle that my brothers, I have two younger brothers, I'm the oldest of three, and my dad was in the military for 20 years. My brothers have worked like regular jobs. And I'm this entrepreneur, this achiever, this, hey, you gotta make shit happen. You gotta do this and go out there and do that. And I mean, the bottom line is not everybody has the same capacity, right? Now, but not everybody can accomplish what I accomplished. And I don't say that to come off as like, oh, I'm better. It's just I finally got a different perspective once I understood the system that we literally operate in. And in the system that is very extractive, that is literally having our energy and what we save our time and energy in, which is the dollar. You can understand there's 8 billion people in the world, 7 billion do not own assets. If you live in the US, you're very fortunate, or in Europe over there, we're very you're very blind to seeing how lucky we are. And if you own assets, you're one of you're just in a small group of people that get to benefit from that. So I think studying the way I studied over the past year and a half has given me perspective, and again, being able to connect and understand that the odds are just stacked against most people. And then in this system that literally, for me, I'm moving a lot of my time and energy into this, right? I mean, I wake up, I don't know how it is for you, Cara, but I wake up thinking of Kaspa and in Bitcoin too. And just like, okay, how can I give back? Because I know that the more I spend time in this and the more I shine light on what this is for people, I've seen it happen in my family. Literally, with my dad last year in December, I showed him, and again, I've held Bitcoin since 2018, but I literally put some numbers together, and I showed him, had you put 80% of your what you get in your pension, your social security, like here's what you would have had. And let me show you what it would have been the past 3 years. And I showed him that. And this is someone who wouldn't allow me to help him. He's just a very stubborn guy. I wanted to do it his way. And he's like, all right, son, go ahead. And I've been able to, I see the benefits of what it's like for him to save money in a sound system. And like we just have a different relationship. I've seen it transform the relationship with my brothers. And so much of that has to do because of how I view myself with my family. I'm a protect. I've shared this before, but I see myself as the protector of my family, right? So for me, one of the goals with all of this is just like trying to reach people and share. I share from experience. Like I'm not a speculator. I don't I don't live in the future. I learn from the past, and I'm very much right here in the present. And I'm going to tell you like it is, raw, real, and with facts that I've experienced. So I think that's what's important, right? Is to come to a realization of like what this really is. So when things are going like this, there's signals. There's signals to dig it a little bit deeper. Do you really do? A lot of times when like this is something that I do with my son, Kara. And he has a Tangent wallet. He has Bitcoin and Kaspa that he saved up. I think I've shared before. He sold snow cones at one of his school projects, and he's put away some. He's bought Bitcoin and Kaspa. And I started saying this to him last year. I'm like, okay, when you see the price going down, what does that mean? He's like, oh, it's just the market's resting, it's recovering, it's resting. I'm like, yeah, it's just like us when we need rest, right, in order to have energy for the next day. So that's all the market's doing, right? And then it's like when it's going up, what does that mean? That means things are good, people are optimistic, it's exciting, right? So that's all that means. And that's how I view Caspa. That's how I view these protocols. They're just measures of the free. We finally have a tool that measures the free market, and a tool where we can literally put in our energy in an abstracted form, and that actually captures it and doesn't debase us. So it being decentralized, secure, and having a hard cap supply, we've never had this. So we literally don't have a frame of reference for this, Kara. And I think that's what kind of people are still trying to measure what what Caspa is from the old system. So there's a lot to work through. There's a lot to understand. There's a lot to get to and try to understand with what we have coming for us. And again, we're so early to this. It's just, this has taken, yeah, I'm just a year and a half into really going deep into this, but that's what I see it as. I see it as an opportunity to dig a little bit deeper and to really find out what's happening, and then to have your perspective be longer term.
I love that. And I love your analogy of the fact that you have to have rest, and that applies to the market, not just the body. You're going to have those ups and downs. That's just part of it. And one of the questions that's been asked while you were talking was, are we going to be expecting any major listings? And I would like to address that question. Uh, we can't expect anything, but I do think that it's inevitable that there will be. And here's how we know it's not speculation. Here's how I know that that's true. Wolfie has been in discussions off and on for over 18 months with places like Binance. And they continually ask him technological questions. How do we set this up? How do we set that up? We know that they're interested. However, we also have to take into the understanding that these exchanges are greedy. Greed always wins. And in my view, if we're going to be looking at Kaspa long term, we have to think of this in terms of greed. We have to consider, what does a business expect to get out of it? We already know that Kaspa is kind of a threat to the system if you think about it. It's already challenging other crypto. And it's been said there's a lot of exchanges that, what incentive do they have to list Kaspa other than the demand for it? People have actually offered to pay a lot of money to have this put on Binance, and they still haven't listed it. So I think, and this is just a personal opinion, I think they are waiting for Kaspa's price to go up before listing it. And I think these market manipulators are really taking advantage of those futures and doing what they can to make as much money as they can for now, while we see these wallets fill up, the ones that are owned by the whales, wallets number 2 and what is it, 4 and 5, there's these newer wallets that are filling up with millions of more cash. And many of us have been speculating that those are future T1 exchanges. And when they're ready, they're ready. And we are approaching a season where people are expecting a big pump. Whether or not that will happen, I'm not in a position to say. I don't usually speculate on price. I do like to speculate when exchanges will list Kaspa. That's more of my lane. I do think that it's definitely going to happen. A matter of when, I don't know. This year, possibly. It's possible. Again, it depends on some of those things that Juan was addressing. There's these other things going on in the market right now. And when those things start to pump, we're going to see a lot of things pump. Does that mean that altcoin season could be happening soon? Very possibly. But I don't really consider Kaspa to be an altcoin. That's a whole nother topic. I think that it's definitely the coin of the future. That's my personal opinion. I will go ahead and accept the next speaker, but I would like to kind of move this conversation a little bit into this new event that's going to be happening in Liverpool, New York, that will allow Kaspa folks to get together again. Last time it was in Berlin at the Kaspa experience, and now we're going to have another experience in New York, here in America. And we have a guest speaker, Casper Funding, and we're going to let them take the floor a little bit to talk about what's coming up. And then I'm going to also go ahead and answer one of these requests for the crypto investor so that they can talk. And then we'll get with you, crypto investor, after Kaspa Funding, and then Buffalo Theory. I'm approving your request to speak, and we'll let you go after crypto investor if they're still up. I'm not sure. Okay. So yeah, Kaspa Funding, tell us a little bit about your project out there.
Hey, good afternoon. JD here. Most of you know me as the Black Splash. Last year we did the Casper third birthday party, and we did that in my at that event we talked about opening the community center, which we filled the lease out. We did the whole first year. We covered the first year up front, so it gave us time to get tables and TVs and all the little nuanced things that are needed for long term for events. This year we're doing the fourth birthday party, and we are doing it at the community center. And yeah, that's what we have going on. We spoke a lot about it on Blockchain Banter. This event is a lot different than the first one that was done in Miami. The first birthday party we did in Miami, there was no cost associated to the community at all. It was free invite, whoever wanted to come. We footed all the bills. Few people in the community, great people. I won't mention them. They threw in. They helped fund it, and it was a big success. A lot of people showed up and actually enjoyed it a lot. A lot of people met each other. We met Ashton. Ashton met the KSPR guys, and so on and so forth. It was just a very good way of celebrating the community and just enjoying what was built for the first year. To that point. Uh, so now we're on to the fourth birthday party, which we're doing a 3-day event in opposed to a single day event, just so that more people can get the opportunity to attend, because not everyone can come on the same days. For example, um, Saturday the 7th, if you follow that faith, is not a day where you can come out and celebrate and enjoy an event. So we put Friday, we put Saturday, and we put Sunday just to try to give everybody a chance to attend and enjoy the event. This event is set up different than the Miami one. There's actually a fee and packages to attend, because one of the purposes of this event is to actually raise the funds so we can essentially have the community center open year round to the public, because there's expenses that come with the center. We have the lease, we have electric and all internet, all these things. It's supposed to be a place for the community to utilize. And I don't like for example, um we just had Berlin, the Casper experience, which is great. We go out, we have these vendors, and we go all these other places. And to me, if we have more hubs that are just like community center based, like we have one. If we have another one in now, we get one in Toronto, or we get one in, I don't know, China, or wherever. And there's just a place where we can utilize as a community and fund as a community. We don't have to like kick tons and tons and tons of money into third parties to do the same things we want to do, to have meetups and hang out. And it's just something that I feel is missing in the space. Um, I was laughing because you were talking about your kid and football and doing the football pictures, and I literally just got back from taking my son to football practice. So I came home from practice, got him fed, and they went to bed. And you said he plays D tackle, and now he's playing DN. Now he's on the offensive line, and it's funny because my kid plays D tackle and he plays offensive tackle. So it was kind of cool to hear that, other football parents doing football parents things. But yeah, if there's any questions, direct questions, feel free to answer. I like more of answering questions than speaking, because, as you know, it's also very late at night for me. Lots of kids, lots of running around. It's been a long, long day.
Casper.
Juan, you want to tell him that you play
Yeah,
football?
yeah, absolutely. I mean, I sent you that message earlier. I listened into. I missed the blockchain banter on Monday. I typically try to make that because it's 4 o'clock. Where are you? Where are you located? Are you in East Coast, West Coast, Central? Where are you? Casper Funding.
Me personally,
Yeah.
I'm East Coast, as well as Andrew from Casper, who's involved in the event. He's also East Coast. Alberto, who's helping with the event, he's in Madrid. And the big thing is, like, it's supposed to be a community event. We're celebrating Casper. We're celebrating all the people in the community. So we're trying to get as many people together to help plan the event, be involved in the event, make it that much more special. Miami was a special event in its own way. A lot of people who came to our first birthday celebration, they're like, man, this is not what I expected. I expected to just be sitting here bored, listening to lectures, and no, it was hands on. People directly talking to each other, showcasing what they're building, talking one on one about what they're building, and that was important. Um, it's this event's not supposed to be your typical conference because this is a celebration of everything that's been done and being built.
Love it. Love it. I mean, I was excited. So I listened back to the blockchain banter from Monday. I listened to it today. And while you were speaking, I looked up the event and I bought a VIP ticket. So I will be there the 7th, 8th, and 9th. I'm looking forward to it. And I'm sad that I missed it last year. I knew about the event because I live in Miami. So I was in Miami last year when you guys ran it. So I'm just really looking forward to it, man. It sounds again, I'm aware of Caspa for a little over a year now, but I wasn't aware of that you booked a community center, that there's an opportunity to do that. So I'm someone who's throwing a lot more of my time into this. Dedicating more. We can say full time. So here to serve, man, and to help in any way that I can. So yeah, I was just excited to hear you on blockchain banter, and I appreciate you coming on late. I'm East Coast too, right? So it's a little bit late for us, but yeah, man, it sounds exciting. Sounds awesome. So I will be there, and I'm looking forward to. Yeah, I imagine you're going to be there. So looking forward to meet everybody in person. I was in Berlin as well, so I was fortunate enough to fly out there and meet a lot of the guys in person. And it's just in real life events are something else, right? There's just a different
Yeah,
energy.
there it is. It's a whole different vibe. It's a whole you get to see the people who are actually building and what they're about and what they're
Yeah.
and like I said, I'm glad. Like last year when we announced this community center, we spent a lot of money last year, like for the lease, for Miami event and all that, in hopes that the community would be like, yeah, let's come together, let's do these things. We have a hub, we can do this thing. But from a personal perspective, I can't do it by myself. You know what I mean? Like,
All right.
this place is not supposed to be like a business. It's not supposed to sit there raking a bunch of money because that's not what community centers are about. That's not what, you don't go to the library because, the library is trying to make tons of money. No, it's a place for people to go check books out, read, educate themselves. And that was the whole concept and point of having a community center because I don't like the idea of, hey, I want to do an event or we want to do this conference and all these different there's so many projects in Caspa. And instead of being like, hey, we have this place, we can utilize it, let's utilize it. It's already paid for. We're it's not like we're paying tons and tons and tons of money personally to go somewhere. You utilize it and have events and showcase to the community and the communities around. And I just think it's something that's lacking in our space. We talk a lot about community, right? And I've been in the community for a long time. I watch the votes and stuff that go in the Discord, and even the little things. Like, it's when the community sees opportunities. There's so much going on, but there are people who just don't take the initiative. Be like, oh wait, they're building this. How can I help? There's a lot of talk, but not a lot of action.
Action. Yeah. Okay. I get that. I get
You
that.
know, and it hurts. It hurts in many different ways in Caspa because like I love, like, there are people, like, there should be no question when they like, hey, I need help with the, like, Super Typo. They were talking about the API. They want to upgrade it and get it faster for the community to use because tons of people use that API, right? If you're familiar with the API.caspa.org, tons and tons and tons of people use it. So when proposals come out where they're like, "Hey, we want to update these resources, we need help," this things like that, in my opinion, shouldn't even be a question. Sorry if I went off on a little bit of a tangent.
That's okay. I wanted to ask, since this is a really important event that you're creating out there, can you tell us a little bit about how much the tickets are? We know this is a 3-day event. We'd like to know, are there any speakers? Are there any nearby hotels? How are accommodations? I already know about the airport situation, but maybe if you could tell us again for those that didn't hear it on the other blockchain banter, just let people know what to kind of expect if they want to come and be involved in
Sure,
this.
sure, of course. So, Andrew was amazing, and he put together Caspa events.xyz. And when we were building it, we were like, we need to actually show people the hotels and where they can stay when they come to this region. So if you go to Caspa events.xyz, there's a section that shows recommended hotels of different grades, because some people are like, I need a 5-star hotel somewhere, I need a 4-star hotel, so on and so forth. So that's one of the things you can find on the website, because like you said, if you want to go to an event, you need to know where you're going to stay. The pricing is also on the website, and we're actually having a discussion about this today, because the current prices are: a 1-day pass is $75, 2-day pass is $125, which was going to change to $150, as well as there's a 3-day pass, which is $175, and which was going to change to $225, because there were timelines, they're set on a timer. And we're like, should we just leave it as it is? And I think we're going to leave the pricing as it is, without changing to the higher like later fee.
Okay.
To, so to,
And do
so
we have any speakers lined up right now?
Yeah, so we have a a visual presentation that some of the coders over at Cassie are going to present. We have some KRC 20 projects that are going to present some things. But like I spoke on before, this event isn't your typical um uh conference. So a lot of people go to conferences, and they want to hear lots of guest speaking, lots of like technical talk. That's not what this event's about. This is a yearly celebration of what's been done in the Casper space. So we're going to be doing a lot of visuals of what was built, what was done this year, and represent what is coming.
I like that. That's cool. I like the celebrating, having a birthday party for Caspa, 4 years old. Here's what it's done. Here's where we are. Here's where we're going. I love that.
Yeah, and one of the things, like I wish Berlin was more than a day. That was a day. I mean, I flew way out there, and I spent a couple days out there. So I think it's great that you guys are doing 3 days where I'll have a chance to meet more people within the community, because there's a handful of people that I've spoken to on X that I just didn't get to meet in person, and we've obviously continued speaking on X. So that, yeah, this is great. This is great. Looking forward to it.
Yeah,
Appreciate you coming
yeah.
up.
I was disappointed that I didn't get to go to Berlin. Like I told Ashton, I had so much going on, like, and we were talking. You know how you were talking about FUD and the price, and people are like, oh no, for certain people, like the miners in the community, it gets real hard to like balance when you're dealing with price fluctuations and electricity costs and so forth. So I was like, Ashton, I can't make it right now. I would love to, and I was like, I just want to see all the pictures, because I knew what was being presented. I knew a lot of what was going to be done there, and I thought it was phenomenal. Like, it's just amazing what they did. Like, the being able to use CAS in a real world setting, to me, was a genius thing. For just, even if you had guests coming or friends of friends, it would be their first experience of using CAS in real life, and I thought that was really, really important and just immaculate.
Yeah, it was super cool, and there was even, I know that I remember talking to somebody who was a Bitcoin maxi, and at the end of it, I think his name is Kasperium, shared that, oh, he converted, he's not a Bitcoin maxi anymore. So yeah, it was a really amazing setup. I think the pictures and the videos did it a little bit of justice. I mean, they did such a great job of capturing that with the with everything there, and it was the pictures did it justice. I'll give it credit, but it's just something else being, and I think we're looking to do more of that. So again, appreciate everything that you're doing. We definitely gotta talk more about getting events like this, or getting people to take action on things like you're talking about. I think that definitely helps. So, but yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, and thank you for signing up and thank you for joining as a VIP because let's just say that's the best package for the event because there's a lots of little hidden goodies for our VIPs because
Yeah, I
for
heard.
us all the money that's coming as ticket purchases are literally just going to keep the doors open. That's all it's for. It's not we're gonna go, oh, let's go, splurge. No, it's literally goes back into the community center as lease or electric or whatever to help sustain the open for the community use. And it's a great thing to have because like I said, there's so many projects in the community. And a lot of people who haven't held an event before don't realize the cost. Something as simple as like renting a conference center or even a hotel conference center, you're already looking at $20,000 just like for setup and food. So being able to mitigate that cost and just utilize the space that exists is a huge win for the community as a whole if we can continue to keep it processing.
Yeah, and being a proof of work project, it's super important that one of the things that I think Bitcoin has lost its original mission, which is we have to use this Caspa. So another thing I want to mention that was really cool is I was able to pay in Caspa on that. It's CaspaEvents.XYZ. If you guys want to go to the site and check it out, CaspaEvents.XYZ. I was able to pay in Caspa. I thought that was super cool that I could pay in Caspa. So I paid in Caspa. That was awesome. We got to use our
Yeah,
Caspas,
but that having the fastest coin in the world, if
right?
for transactional purposes, you should be able to use it for transactional purposes.
Exactly.
That's we give flack to the Bitcoin community all the time because who wants to wait 40 minutes for a transaction? That's not what peer to peer is. This is we're utilizing what Cas was meant to be used for.
100%. No, it was exciting. I get excited every time I use it. I pay my barber in it. I got a manicure and pedicure today, so ain't gonna lie, I paid them in it. So I have a little ecosystem of paying people in Caspa, bro. So it was exciting to pay in via Caspa for sure. And I'm trying to get as many people on this as I can. So I've converted a lot of people around me. Then I start working on businesses. So we're early. We're early to this, little by little, one conversation at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So again, this is caspaevents.xyz. This will be from November 7th to the 9th this year. So it's just a month away. This will be in Liverpool, New York. So if you want to get tickets, go to caspaevents.xyz. I do want to open the floor to a few other speakers. I know this is such an important topic, and I wish I could spend a few hours actually just talking about this. But we're going to try to get as many speakers as we can, and probably a 2 hour limit today. Last time we did 4 hours. We're going to try to shoot for 2 hours, hopefully. So I do want to kind of move this forward so we can invite crypto investor. But I do want to say, if you guys want to go to this event, please check out the website, celebrate Caspa's fourth birthday, give a follow to Caspa Funding. And if you want to get involved or be there or meet up with other people, please do. This is a huge event that's going to help keep those doors open. The lease itself is, I think, 25,000 a year. And so those things do cost money, plus, of course, electricity, internet, other things too. So getting a ticket and going is really going to help keep the physical meetups alive out there and keep that community center running out in New York. So if you want to be there, please get involved. And thank you. Crypto investor, go
thanks,
ahead.
thanks for having us, Kara.
Hey, hey, am I audible?
Yeah, go ahead. You're on
Yes,
crypto.
yes. It's a great starting points. Like you mentioned a couple of things, and Yuan mentioned a couple of things, and very good hosting the events in Miami. I wish I could, like I will try, but I'm not sure. So there are some points that I want to like touch upon, like what you were mentioning about the smart contracts on L2, L1, and couple things like along the discussion. Uh, sorry, I may be jumping around like between the topics, but bear with me. So,
No, go
so
ahead.
you mentioned like the smart contracts and like why L2 is bleeding and it's not working on. I think it's Casplex is not fully open sourced, and it's kind of messy situation right now. Like people don't trust Casplex in one way. And they are waiting for Igra. Yeah, okay. And then what about the smart contracts on L1 itself? I think this is a major thing that people are still being aware, like beware of the situation. Like, I don't think there are any other chains that actually build smart contracts on L1 itself to scale, like everything on L1. So that's one thing that people are waiting for. So there is not much price action just because of the smart contracts that has recently launched. So the price action is like that, and there are many memes that are being launched, just like pump.fun, initial, Solano, and all the stuff. um, it's good. There are some good projects, and people keep trading on them, and then like, okay, whatever they are earning, it's fine, but ultimately it's on L2. The reason like L2, why we need smart contracts on L2 is for like scaling purposes. Like when there is not enough throughput on L1, we usually go for L2s to kind of scale the throughputs on, and then add new dApps and all the other facilities. But Casper, I mean, we did 158 million transactions on L1 itself. So I don't see right now the necessity for smart contracts. But yeah, that is just a feather in the like that right now it's not pumping much because it's what it is. Like we have, and like you mentioned, Kara, like previously you mentioned, people usually use smart contracts or um, the smart contracts or like the memes or L2 to swap the main currency to the other memes. The thing that is what is needed is not just from Caspa to other memes on L2 or something, but what we want is mm, maybe from other projects, like let's say Ethereum, Solana, or something, like who wants to trade on L2 on Caspa. Like that may bring new volume. It's not just like Casper people. Casper people is like a tight knit community. They don't want to spend Casper because, like, if you ask me, I don't want to spend Casper on memes because I want to retain my Casper. I don't want to spend it just for memes, right? So it's kind of a situation where I want is a system, but I don't want to spend my like Casper on some memes just because there is smart contracts. Yes, I do trade a little bit, but not too much on the L2. But I just bought a little bit on L2, but just to try out the system and to support the system and all these things. But that's what it is, right? And I think you mentioned like CAS is can be considered CAS an altcoin. For now, I would say yes. CAS is an altcoin because CAS is not fully recognized by most of the communities, majorly by the maxis, I would say. But yeah, they're not the entire entity, but they are major part because they have the around 3.3 trillion plus market cap. So yes, uh, so we have to convince these people to make sure that like they kind of understand what is POW and then kind of rotate onto this. And then there was another point, like you mentioned, like there is more talk,
Wait, wait,
but
wait.
not
Can I respond to what you just said before you go to the next subject? Hold on just a
yeah.
second. I want to thank you for that perspective and for sharing that. I have a different perspective on the altcoin thing. I just want to share this. So, what I heard from you is that the altcoin basically, you view it as basically comparing it to the market cap of Bitcoin. And I respect that. For me, I view Kaspa is not being an altcoin because it's the first of its kind. It's not an alternate block DAG. It's the first block DAG. Bitcoin was the first adopted blockchain, right? We have Caspa that's the first block DAG, and because it's the first, it's the original, and therefore it's not an alternate. That's why I don't think it's an altcoin. But if you're comparing it
Actually,
to
yes,
Bitcoin and you're looking at it
yes.
like adoption, then I can see how we could play semantics on the nuance of what defines an altcoin, but that's why I don't. But yeah,
Yeah,
go
yeah.
ahead with your next
I
thing.
get,
I just wanted to
I
throw
get
that.
that point. Yes, I really get that point because gas is one of its kind, and we should not actually compare to anything else, if at all. It is actually like if we have to start all over again, like Caspa is the end game. Like there's, if Caspa was invented the first, then there would be no Bitcoin. Like there wouldn't be any other crypto. Like everything will be Caspa, right? So I'm not saying in that perspective. Let's, right now we are in 2025. Bitcoin has already been launched and it's been already 16 years. So right now the cycle, like I know, like I'm not saying like we have to respect the 4 or 5 year cycle right now. Previously, it was 4 years. Now people say 5 years and all these things. But okay, there are phases. People rotate into from one phase to another phase, one Bitcoin to Ethereum, all these phases. I do respect all that thing. I understand what is happening behind the scenes and how it is being manipulated. But this cycle is different. Like Yuan mentioned, like this cycle is very much different. Yes, it is different in the sense like how the the exchanges, like especially Binance and all these people are kind of manipulating the system and trying to pump their own tokens. It is much different than the other cycles. So not listing Casper on Binance or T1 or any other exchanges is one factor. Like they are threatened, that I agree on what you mentioned before. The other aspect is also like they want to suppress the price as much as possible to even make more money out of it. So they are business, right? So for me, I'm an investor. Like I don't care like what business they are doing. For me, in a long term, what I'm gonna get. So that's why I don't want to spend my cash on some memes that are being launched. Yes, I do trade, but not like I'm not a trader basically. So I'm an investor. You can see my name. It's crypto investor. So basically, I invest in stuff that I believe in and which has a long term potential. And I don't see anything else that has a long term potential like Cap does right now. And fundamentally, it is. I don't like to call it altcoin, but fundamentally, it is the best coin, right? And what can we do for this to make it happen is like Yuan mentioned, like he's talking one at a time, to one business at a time, to convert them to maxis, from Bitcoin maxis to Casper, make them accept Casper, right? One thing that I had, I talked to some of the people. There are some gas stations here where do I live, and then I asked, like, why can't you accept, because it is fun. You don't have to pay that 2.5% of the Visa fee or MasterCard fee. They said it's not just the fees less, but it's also the software that goes into how do you track the ledger. They don't want to write all the ledgers in their thing manually and then do it. They don't want to go through that extra step of process. If Caspa has to go like a full on, what I would see is from the development side, how to integrate the POS system, like the point of sale system, into their actual ledger. Like they should not feel any difference between accepting fiat versus accepting. If that can happen, there will be real adoption. And I would say, like, I don't know, like if can do it something on my side, like I can try to convince them like about Caspa and all. But I don't know, like if I can build up a POS system and like actually do the real transactions and all these things. But if there are real people who can do that, that will be like much beneficial in long term. Like adopting, like making them do it without any changes to their existing stuff. You just have to put one more POS, just accept Casper. Everything does the ledger accounting for tax purposes or whatever the stuff is to happen. So I think that is what is missing right now, who are not accepting Casper as payment. Because all in all, Casper is peer-to-peer transaction and it is like, if it is to be accepted as a cash system, and there should be a ledgering for like proper accounting for them as well, because most of the people who start a business are not like well versed in all the nuances with the crypto and how tax reporting happens. That's one thing that I want to mention. And you wanna gonna place KS7 Lite right now. Maybe by the end of this call, I just got free and I will be getting my new miner right now. And also I'll be running one public node apart from the miner. So that's one thing that I just want to say, Yuan.
That's
And
awesome. Yeah, we appreciate that, and I think what you just said there with running a public node, that's something that's being talked about, within our community quite a bit. It's something that we absolutely, I recommend. If you're not running one, run a node and look into running a public node. I got a lot of help from Caspa Silver, but it was really, really easy to set up. So that's awesome, crypto
yeah,
investor. Appreciate you coming up and speaking. Now, Buffalo has had his hand up for a bit. I wanted to move over to him and hear what he has to say. But yeah, appreciate you, crypto investor. Let's definitely get the public nodes up. We got to get that up. I like the competition that's happening. By the way, I see like Texas. I just saw something. Texas has like 10. Florida has 6. I think Seattle, or not Seattle, Washington has 6. So let's keep that going for sure. But
yeah,
Buffalo, go ahead. You've had your hand
yeah.
up. I'm gonna move it over to Buffalo to speak. He's had his hand up for a bit. Go ahead.
Hey, thank you, Juan. I appreciate it. Thank you, Cara and Juan, for setting this up for us. I appreciate it. Hopefully you guys are having a good night. It's been a beautiful day here in California. Loving every minute of it. We got a little rain. It's a good day. But something I wanted to speak to when I got on, Cara was talking about why it's taking so long. Excuse me. Why it's taking so long for Binance to list. And I have a theory, because it's been a year plus, year and a half of Binance, like weekly or bi-weekly, talking to either the devs or Wolfie about Kaspa. Now, I don't know of any exchange that would need a year and a half of talking to devs to list a coin. That doesn't make any sense to me. So what my theory is that they see what's coming. They see what Caspa is capable of. We have 10 BPS, and they're aware of Dagnite, and Dagnite is coming. And I have a feeling they're going to use. The Caspa rails for transactions, because they're going to use their rails for transactions within Binance. This is my theory. Like, why wouldn't they? If we get 32 blocks per second, it's the fastest, safest option. So why wouldn't they use the rails for their transactions within their ecosystem, within Binance and all their coins? So that's kind of my theory, and I just wanted to pick your guys' brain about it, and just kind of see what you guys think, because that's what I think is coming. And of course, I still feel that 90% crypto won't be necessary after Caspa adoption. I really don't. But anyway, I would just like to hear your guys' thoughts. Thank you.
I'd like to share one thing, and then I'm going to let Juan just run with this. I I have a little bit of paranoia when it comes to this idea that Caspa will be everything, because my fear is that we're going to have a one world currency, and I don't want that. I actually like decentralized money, and that means having many forms of money. So, as much as I love Caspa and want to use it for everything, I don't want it to be the only thing.
I completely
I
agree with you. I completely
love
agree
that.
with you.
And so I am a big fan of it, but I am deathly afraid of having any kind of one world currency. It terrifies me to death. It keeps me awake at night. I'm terrified of that. So I don't want there to be an attitude myself of hearing people say, "Oh, only Caspa." That scares me. Now, it's ironic because all my money's in Caspa, but I that's because I embrace other people putting their money where they want, and that's how I stand on it. But yeah, Juan, I'd like to hear what you have to say on
Yeah,
that.
I think there's a bunch of valid points, and at the end of the day, I think this is all our speculations, and this is what's kind of fun about this, right? We can, based off of our perspectives and what we think, we can kind of give ideas, and I think Buffalo, you bring up a good point in terms of where things are in the market and how it looks, right? We with Binance and what potentially could happen. So we know the tech of what Caspa could potentially be, but I also I feel your perspective too, Kara, in terms of if you look at history, right, we can kind of get an idea of how this plays out. And then when you hear the kind of the utopian idea of, oh, there's going to be only one thing, I look at principles and how these technologies are at the base layer, right? And that's why for me, Bitcoin made sense until Caspa came along. So I look at it like very similar to back in 2000 with the dot com bubbles, with all these with all these businesses that tried to get online and all that, and then a handful of them survived. So I see it playing out like that. I see it playing out where there's going to be obviously Bitcoin, Caspa, the ones that have utility. There's ones that have like these grounded principles that are actually going to be used, that are going to be adopted, right? And people are going to naturally move towards what is convenient and what works. Now we're probably a bunch of nerds on here that want to know the details and all that. And I think at the end of the day, I've given examples of this in past spaces where I've gone to my son's school and I've talked to these kids about money, right? And it's a private school, and I've actually had them look at Caspa, use the Caspa. My son has Caspa and Bitcoin shirts. They know us as like the crypto Caspa Bitcoin people, and just look at how like the younger generation is using this and how they're moving along to this. I think Caspa Silver talks about this quite a bit too. You look at how people are using things and how they're moving with things. It's like the quicker it works and the more it makes sense and the easier it is for people to adapt, they're going to use and move towards that. So that's why for me it's like there's just a lot less resistance on Caspa. So it makes sense that it's gonna eventually be adopted, is just how I see it. And yeah, to speak with these exchanges are businesses, right? They're 100% looking for the right opportunity to, when again, going back to what we started the call off with. You take a look at the macro sense and what's happening with the money supply. A lot of this correlates back to that, and that's what a lot of people do. They look short term when this is a long play. People with money, the whales, and all these people that have the money that can move the markets. Trust me, that's how it works, right? And again, when you're measuring what is happening with these decentralized systems that are bounded by energy, we've never had this before, but I think Bitcoin is the best reflection of what Caspa is. And I'm kind of with Kara with, I don't really look at Caspa as like an altcoin because it didn't perform like an altcoin during the bear market. If you really look at how it played out, and yeah, it's been flat for a year. But if you really take a look at and do some homework on what has the economy been like, what has the money supply been like, what has happened over the past year, there's been a lot of manipulation, a lot of it, right? And it's
100%.
only a matter of fucking time before they have to. We have 9.2 trillion dollars coming due in America that we have to refinance, and we have to kick that down the road. So if you understand the way that works and you just take a look at it, I'm again. I love Larry Leopold wrote this book called the Big Print, and he talks a lot about that. At the core of what he speaks about, it's like it's surprising that it hasn't happened already, but it's only a matter of time. Like it's just only a matter of time. I can't tell you if it's going to be a month from now, 3 months from now. It doesn't matter. Like the perspective on this needs to be long term because of what this protocol is. So yeah, that's my take on it.
That's a really good point. Buffalo, what do you think of what Juan just said?
Well, yeah, you're right. We do have to refinance with the debt. I know that Trump and his team is talking about, and this some world leaders are worried about this, is that they're basically going to delete their debt. And what's going to happen? I'm not saying this is going to happen, but this is a possibility. I mean, you can look at Sailor, and Sailor's like, dump all the gold, buy Bitcoin, it'll shoot up. I mean, because we already have, I think, what, 410 Bitcoin in US that the US, you know, extracted from nefarious means. Well, from nefarious people, I should say. But I think that's what they're going to try and do, which is a good idea because America wants to kill their debt. Um, and I think that they're going to try and do that with cryptocurrency. That's what I mean. That would be the smart play. I'm not saying sell all the gold would be a smart play. I'm just saying that that would be a smart play for them to kill the debt. I mean, look at, was it Venezuela has done that already? Like they're doing well because they invested in Bitcoin at like what 40,000 when it was sitting at 40,000. Um, but yeah, and then to go back to what you were saying, I think that the whoever has the best, I don't know, maybe solid or safest, easiest tech that moves fast is going to dominate. There's no doubt about that. And because we can scale and we're decentralized, the safety, I mean, because we've solved the trilemma, right? But like because it can scale is so huge. And at 100 blocks per second, I mean, who's going to compete with that? And I feel you on the whole idea of like we don't want a one world currency, but I don't think that we have a choice on that. I don't know if it'll happen in our lifetime, but I mean, eventually, I think that is going to be it's going to be a probability, um, as long as we don't blow ourselves up. but but I think when I say 90%, I mean there's a lot of things that we can do with blockchain technology or block DAG technology. Um, so when I say 90% of crypto is not going to be necessary, I mean it. I'm meaning it as money, right? I don't think Monero is going to go anywhere. I don't think Bitcoin is going to go anywhere. I'm sure there's going to be, you know, I know Avalanche did the stuff with their game that they were doing. So there are other avenues. I'm just saying as currency, because you have so many shitty coins that people have just put out and it's a pump and dump and it's done, right? I'm just saying that as people get more educated and they see the tech and they see and they use it, right? And it's this fast and it's this cheap to use and it's anywhere in the world, it's going to be a no-brainer. That's what I'm just trying to say.
Yeah, yeah,
Absolutely.
I'm with that, and you know, I just want to bring this up because Chad Rubard from Rubard Media talks about this quite a bit, where you know I just see people are going to be using Caspa and not knowing that they're using Caspa. So a lot of things are going to be powered by Caspa. So Caspa as a sequencer, like that makes the most sense versus what you know what you were saying, Kara, where you know where you're paranoid about it being, yeah. So I'm with Buffalo in terms of it not necessarily, you know, these cryptos, they're a lot of them are going to exist, but in terms of them being used as money, only a handful of them will be able to play in that game, and that's time will tell. That's how I see it.
That's a good point. And I agree with you. I do think that we're going to have some coins that are just going to stick around because people love them. They love their utility or they love the nostalgia or they just like hanging on to it, such as Litecoin. There's people that have stuck around with Litecoin for a long, long time just because it was one of the early
Yeah, it's
ones
a collectible.
around the time that,
It's a nice little
yeah,
collectible,
just like
right?
when they had but here's the thing, not everybody has Namecoin, but Namecoin and Litecoin were around at the same time. But Litecoin, people just like it. Maybe it's the name. There's something about it that people just still keep it. Same thing with I don't even know how people pronounce it. The Doge coin,
Doge.
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 Everyone says it differently. The Doge, the doggy coin. That one was also around from the early days, and people like that because it's an old timers collectible. And I kind of hope that that happens. And I think one day people are going to look at Caspa and see this is one of the early ones because all of this is still new. A very small percentage of the world is even using crypto. These are still the early days. And Caspa is new, even though some years have gone by. It hasn't been 100 years. We're still in the early days. So from that perspective, I'm hoping that this can be one of the coins that people look at not only as a collectible, but as real good usable money that can stand the test of time and be one of those classic coins that can be used for centuries and still have high value. And I think it really is one of those store of values because it has that medium of exchange utility. It's scarce and it's a really cool coin. I do want to hear from Crypto PXN, who is up here as a speaker. Are you still up here? And do you have anything you would like to share on this or a different topic? We'd like to hear what perspective you bring.
Yeah, thank you so much for letting me speak. This is the second time I've gotten to speak with the Kaspa community, and I see a lot of familiar names in here, which is really cool. I come from a perspective of someone who's not a programmer, but not retailer. I love to use crypto, and Caspa's one of the. It's not one of the. It's the coolest blockchain block dag out there. Um, what I find about it is where as a community, as a programmable blockchain, we're always one step behind what is already out there, you know. And if you guys haven't heard yet, moonbound.gg is a pump.fun meme coin launching website, and it's really cool. Like, I'm really excited about it. I haven't taken the time yet to figure out how to get my Caspa from L1 to L2. So once I do that, I'll probably play around on the Moonbound website. But from a user point of view, I just discovered this wallet, Castle, and it's the nicest Caspa wallet I've used yet. But I just downloaded it the other day. It's still not as nice as a wallet like Phantom. You know, while a Phantom is such a great wallet because when I use it, I use Solana a lot, and when I use it, everything I need, I can go to the browser, I can connect my wallet, I can begin to interact with decentralized apps. Whereas on Caspa, I'm not really sure why, but this functionality just hasn't been reached yet, right? So when I am ready to play on moonbound.com, I'm going to have to go to my PC in order to do so. And that creates a poor user experience, unfortunately, because 80% of people use their cell phones. And I bet 80% of the people on this Twitter Spaces is on their cell phones. So that's one thing I just wanted to say, is that I wish that, and I know it will get there, but I'm always a little disappointed that Caspa is like one step behind on the user side of what is out there in crypto. And I think I'll leave it there. But yeah, thank you for letting.
Have you tried Caspium, which is a mobile wallet that you can use? Have you tried that?
Let me see. I think I have Caspium for where my funds get deposited. Is that what this is? Let me see.
No, Kara, like I think he's talking about the user's perspective on using L2. So I think the best one is like you mentioned, Castle on the mobile, but for Caspian, you don't want to connect your main wallet to the bridging or converting from L1 to L2 and then connecting it to this one. So yes, right. I do agree with what he's saying right now, but I feel you have a TG Casper Fund dot Casper Fund bot to convert from L1 to L2 and then just transfer that one to Casware. Casware is like it was from the beginning of your KRC20. So basically, what I feel, it was very much matured right now. Like you can just send to the ERC20, then you can use or connect that one to most of the DeFi, and then you can trade. So to me, like use the Casper Fund bot to convert from L1 to L2, and then use the Casper to uh, connect to, let's say, LFC or Moonbound or anything else. So that one works better. So Caspium is mainly for storing like on the L1, but I don't think like someone wants to convert L1 to L2 on the mobile wallet, like that's a main wallet.
So why would people not want to convert their L1 to L2
You
on
can,
a?
you can, you can. If you want to use Caspium, yes, you can do that, but you need to make sure that it's the passphrase that you're or you want to connect to the Moonbound or this one on the mobile version. Yes, I do agree that there is some disconnect between the mobile versions with the desktop versions or the laptop versions or the browser versions. There is some disconnect between that. And I, as a user, I also feel there is some problem with this one. And I don't think someone who is like coming fresh right now to try out Caspa, the ecosystem to L1 to L2, it's even not that user friendly right now. I think it's
And
being early is, I think it's a sin, and it's a it's a boon. So basically, that's what we are right now.
yeah, I agree with you. I'm thank you. I'm glad you see my perspective. And yeah, it's a matter of just making things seamless from a user perspective. And someone just shared something with me and said, "Hey, look at this crypto connection," and it's a post from Castle Wallet saying that they support Moonbound. And I see that they support Moonbound, but they don't support Moonbound on their mobile app, which is, again, that is the user experience that I'm talking about here. Switching over, if I want to use Moonbound, I now have to go over to my desktop, and that's unfortunate. And even I'm sure it'll get there, Moonbound. If you guys haven't seen it yet, check it out. But I also recommend, if you're kind of like questioning what it is I'm talking about, just checking out Phantom Wallet and checking out Pump.Fun, and just, you don't have to get all crazy with meme coins. I'm not shilling anything here, but just check out the vibe, because the vibe is so strong. Um, there's just so many people in there. Like, you go into Pump.Fun and you could kill 2 hours just watching people act silly on camera. And that experience just isn't there on Moonbound, and it's not compatible with mobile wallets. So once again, we're just a step behind what's out there and what's being done better, not from a case of decentralized and functionality and cost, but from a user interface and engagement experience perspective. Thank you again.
I appreciate that perspective, and I think that you bring valid points. I would encourage everyone listening to use AI, use these smart contracts to build something so that we can correct these issues, so that we can reach out and have the user experience be what we want it to be, because we are the solution. And AI makes it possible for us to follow step-by-step instructions on how to use these smart contracts to create pretty much anything. So I would encourage everyone, I would challenge everyone in this room to use any AI program, whether it's Grok, ChatGPT, Gemini, all the ones that are out there, right? There's so many to pick from. uh, find one and ask it how to make, and then type in what you want to type in, fill in the blank using Caspa smart contracts, and just follow the instructions. When I typed it in, I was given instructions on how to make a decentralized marketplace in 1 hour. That was the time that it told me I could make it. I have not tried it yet, but at least I know there is a way. And so I would challenge everyone in here to try to do things that can actually make those user experiences better so that we don't fall behind, so that we can be the solution. And for these wallets that, are not mobile ready, I would like to throw in the word yet, because these things take time. And my understanding is that there's a lot of people building stuff who've never even built anything before. And this is their way of learning. And sometimes there's a learning curve. So sometimes a little patience goes a long way, a little money goes a long way. Having people who have the knowledge goes a long way. And so if you have knowledge on something and you see, I'm not saying you as any particular person, but just everyone in the room, if you see someone who is starting a project and you have knowledge on how to push them forward, offer them a little bit of advice or say, hey, would you like some tips? Or, hey, I have an idea. Those kinds of things help us network and help us grow and use that shared knowledge to do something with this network that makes it really good for the end user. And so, yeah, I appreciate what you've said. I think that's a good opportunity for people to think of solutions when it comes to this, right? Because we're only going to go up from here, and adoption is the next step. Building is the next step. Development, we're at that stage and we're doing it.
Yeah, and then I do want to add this and just as perspective, right? Because I think this is important when comparing Caspa, Bitcoin versus other protocols that are out there, right? The fact that Caspa is a proof of work and it's doing what it's doing on the base layer is what Caspa is bringing to the market. And I do think when you take a look at the way the networks are secured, right? So with proof of stake, that's more of the just the way those networks are built out. It's capital staking, it's more like fiat consensus based, and it relies on governance. So there's probably people, again, with the way these other networks were put together, it's just different versus proof of work, where you're literally starting from the ground up. So it's going to take a little bit more time for some of these things to develop because it's just a different way of how these things are being built out. So I think it's important to have that perspective to understand the difference between these proof of stake networks versus a proof of work network. At the base layer, what Caspa solved for, that's what separates Caspa and what people do not really understand at the core. So I just wanted to add that.
On top of that, I would say like proof of work networks are usually don't have any um, funding to actually do all this stuff. This is all community driven, and they are not actually built by the actual developers. The proof of stake networks, they have a separate fund for developers or all this stuff. They are paid for it and in order to develop it. Now, when you come upon with Castle Wallet or any other wallet, it's all like developer driven or community driven wallets, and all these things are being developed on the go based on the usage of the network. So Caspian wallet was the first mobile wallet that I used, and then like later on I came up with the Casper when the KRC20 has been launched, and then there are other wallets that we keep. There are new Castle wallet, and all these wallets came after this one, so they are developing on top of each of the stuff. So like I said before, being early is like a boon and also a curse. So you have to wait for some time to, to get it better adoption and like find the differences between the already matured like Solana system, like the Phantom Wallet. Phantom Wallet is good, but I still don't use Phantom Wallet on a mobile. So for me, I prefer using laptop or desktop all the time. So I prefer going on to this one because I can create profiles on it and then use it on this one. I don't maintain multiple phones, but I can maintain multiple profiles on my Chrome profile and then use it for whatever I am using. So I'm more of desktop oriented. It depends on the people who are using it. And most of the times, like what I've seen, proof of work networks like Bitcoin and this one, they are like desktop oriented people rather than like mobile oriented people, maybe I don't know, like it might be this thing, but what I see is like the development happens first on this one. And also the other problem with the wallets or the bots that we develop or any of these thing is like mostly iOS problems. Many of the times they are not very I don't know, like the developers are very specific to develop on the iOS platforms. So I think the wallets will take some time for actually integrating all this stuff. But I do agree what you mentioned, crypto CXN. But yes, right now we are in the development stage, and I do believe we are still in the progressive stage rather than declining stage. So we do think that will happen.
Okay, so I've got a comment to interject here. Uh, Moonbound can be used on your mobile phone with a MetaMask mobile wallet. If you use Curve to, basically take your cash from layer 1 to layer 2, uh, it works. So I think you're just using the wrong wallet.
Cat.
That's
I just
thank
I
you
haven't
for
seen
letting
you in
me
a
know
long
that.
time.
Right.
Cat. I just want to say what's up. Thanks for coming on the stage,
What's
man.
up?
Yeah, it's been a while. Thanks for coming on the
Yeah,
stage,
yeah,
man.
been around.
How you been?
Yeah, I
Good
mean,
to. I'm
the
glad you
whole
guys are putting
point.
this show on. It's really, really good. But anyway, go on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
sorry about that.
Yeah, sorry. The whole point is like, I mean, like what he was mentioning is like there are so many wallets in Caspa. Like it's not like Phantom. If you see Solana, it's like Phantom. It's like the main wallet right now at this point of time. But maybe I don't know. Like in the Solana, Phantom is like they. It could be like right now it's a very famous one. There could be like 100 different wallets before, so we don't know like what was different wallets that people used it before. So right now in the Caspa we have several different wallets to connect on phone. They are different in the mobile and they are different in the ecosystem, but as an user friendly point of view, it all the education comes onto the user to learn about the platform right now, rather than simply just following one wallet. Just use one wallet on the phone and then connect it to everything and then do whatever transactions you want to do. So I think as a user point of view, whatever he mentioned maybe is making some point.
Yeah, yeah, someone made the point that it's the price for being early, right? And all of this, I'm sure, is going to get rolled out in the near future.
Yeah,
But
yeah, that's
yeah,
me.
it's
That's
just the
me.
price of being early.
Yeah, that's me. Being early is problem because uh I recently used Edu and myself, and I felt like, what the hell is this? Why do I have to connect so many wallets? So yeah.
I I do like to build stuff, and I've been in this crypto space for a while. I've seen what's worked and what doesn't, and I love the way the Caspa community comes together. Um, but I wanted to create. This was just the other day. I was on a space on a with a bunch of Casper users, and I was like, man, I want to create something, right? If I want to create an NFT collection, and I'm hoping that people out there are going to send me more stuff to kind of give me some direction. Um, but I wanted to create an NFT collection on Solana. Without that ability to know how to program, I can launch an NFT collection in 10 minutes, And then given my other skills, my marketing skills, my ability to build a website, I can pull this all together and build a full blown marketing campaign on Solana. But, I spent about, I want to say 2 hours trying to figure out how to launch an NFT collection, because what I wanted to do was create an NFT collection and then use a portion of the proceeds from the NFT collection to fund Caspa ads on X, because I feel bad for the Caspa community sometimes, how hard they put themselves out there and commenting on other people's Twitter feeds. And I don't feel like there's any momentum behind that. While I respect the passion,
No,
I see a lot of.
I see what you're
Go ahead.
saying, but I think Casper.com has already done that. And there are many NFTs on Casper.com. They can usually launch it as long as you have the material to launch it. So I think, like Cascat mentioned, you are using a wrong thing to look at when you're launching a token, or let's say when you're launching an NFT. There are actually platforms on the original L1 itself, not on the L2. So L2 is kind of messed up. It's new, but on already on KRC 721, it's already there, and there are majorly Casper and the Casper.com. It is already available, and people are doing it day by day. So
Yeah,
maybe take a look at Casper.com to launch.
I was on there the other day. I guess I was having trouble with the IPFS, and I'm sure it was a user issue. If anyone out there knows how to do this, I would love to get some guidance. But I will try again.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I would say please join the Telegram channels on the Casper.com, or the ones, or Casper official channel. I think they will actually help you in doing that. And like, if you can even DM me, I can connect you with some of the NFT developers who had already done it before.
All right, sounds good, man. I'll send you. I think I am following you already, and I'll connect with you. But I'll try to take it upon myself to get in
Yeah,
that
sounds
Telegram.
good. Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thanks for coming up, Crypto CXN. Appreciate your perspective and sharing with us. Yeah, appreciate that big time. I want to give other speakers a chance to come on up and share what they got to share. Speak up.
Yeah.
Let's get
Good.
who else? Satoshi can hold on. Satoshi can hold on for a second. Let's get regular Joe's been up for a little bit. Do you want to say anything, regular Joe?
Hey, hello.
How you doing?
Hey, good to have you.
All right. I just would like to share a few points um, related to the space, of course. And the first thing I want to say is I'm new to the space, by the way, to the whole Casper environment, but I am absolutely impressed with what Casper can do, uh, which kind of directs me to the first point I want to make, which is a lot of people buy Kaspa from centralized exchanges, so CX. And I think that's very detrimental to the whole idea behind Kaspa. Listen, Kaspa is literally being bought on CX, which means they're not using the most powerful thing behind Kaspa, which is the network, which is the DAG, right? Buying Kaspa centralized is the very concept of destroying it, because it's the opposite of decentralized, which is what we're aiming for in the first place, right? So that's one of the points I wanted to make. And by the way, I'm just making this point so we can, if anyone wants to pitch in, we can elaborate on that. Those are just my opinions, by the way. And what a lot of people don't understand about CX, which once again is where people are buying Kaspa. Okay, people are not buying Kaspa on DX. By the way, all the Kaspa I own, I bought on DX. I don't have CX anymore. So CX operates on databases. They literally don't use the network created by Kaspa. The absolutely revolutionary network created by Kaspa. The DAGs, nothing. This is all going to waste because people are using CX. So, anyways, that's my first point. And the other thing I would like to mention, and I would like to discuss, if anyone has the patience, maybe is, I think Kaspa needs smart contracts yesterday. And of course, we have L2, but I'm talking about L1. Kaspa needs smart contracts on L1 because if we don't have smart contracts, people are going to be trapped in CX. Because let me give you an example. Ethereum. Ethereum is absolutely revolutionary, despite not being decentralized, unfortunately, because we can do anything with Ethereum. We can trade, we can do LP, we can liquidity providing, we can do lending. We have a lot of protocols, lending, borrowing, and Casper needs that kind of stuff. If we are not able to trade inside the Casper network, we're going to lose it. If Casper is going to be Bitcoin, which is a network which with a single coin, Casper is not going to thrive. And that's the points I wanted to make.
Thank you so much. Does anyone have any different perspectives they'd like to share on that?
I would, if you don't mind. As I agree with you that we do need smart contracts on layer one. I know you're new to the space, but Igra is working on that as of now, and for as much as I know, that's going to be Q1 of next year. So they're coming sooner. Of course, we would have liked them yesterday, but I appreciate the Igra team because they're very serious about this and testing it because they don't want to fuck it up, and I don't blame them. So they're building the layer one smart contracts. So it is coming.
Do you agree with my perspective? I know maybe I'm being a little bit radical on this, but I would like to leave it as a question so everyone can, because anyways, I would really appreciate any opinions of you guys. I think if we don't have trading inside the Kaspa network, Kaspa can never be a network with a single coin. It will not succeed, in my opinion. And once again, if I'm being radical or anything, you can tell me. But I think we need stable coins. Stable coins are essential for Casper because if we have trading, we can do LP. We can build protocols on top of L1, and that's gonna make it work, in my opinion.
Yeah, and once again, I mean, this is what we hear from the devs. Stable coins are on their way. We don't know if it's going to be on the Kasplex layer 2. I don't know if USDC or Circle is going to be doing that, or if they're going to wait till the layer 1 smart contracts open up with Igra. But they, once again, it's kind of the story for us patient CAS holders is that we are young. It is a young project, but all these things are culminating from now pretty fast. So, I mean, we're going to have stablecoins soon, and of course that's going to open up huge amounts of volume because who doesn't want to move their stablecoins on something that's cheap as hell and moves really, really fast, moves the fastest, and will continue to move the fastest come DAG night, which I would love to know when that's going to happen, but I'm assuming it's going to be Q1, Q2. So we have a lot to look forward to coming this next year. Hopefully we can get the Binance listing before then, and multiple strong centralized exchanges to at least get some volume. But what you're talking about is coming, so it's not like it's not happening. It's just gonna be a waiting game. It's gonna be patience, and the fact that it's going to be coming the beginning of next year, at least this is what we're told. That's exciting for me. If anybody has any other insider information that it's going to be longer when it comes to DAG night, please correct me.
Satoshi Holds, do you have any thoughts that you'd like to bring into this? I'm curious what you have to say.
Yeah, I think Casper's a shitcoin. You know, I've been making YouTube videos all about everyone needs to get to 1 Satoshi by the end of the fucking. You have 1 life. 1 life to get to 1 Satoshi, and all of you, each and every single one of you in this call, is wasting your lives trying to get to 1 goddamn Casper. What the hell? What do y'all think about that?
I think that's a very different perspective. Juan, what do you think?
I like this guy's haircut. Do you need to grow that beard out a little bit longer? And I don't I
Yeah,
don't I don't understand the anger. What's going on?
it's
I think
If he's threatened,
I
bro.
think I've
that,
seen you around. You
that
look
was a spot
familiar.
on impression.
I'm a simple fiat advisor here. Okay?
I don't
I can't
know. I don't know. Who is this? Who is
I
this?
can't stand you shitcoiners. All you do is gamble with these little fucking meme coins and NFTs. God damn.
So it sounds like you have a lot of passion and a lot of built up emotion towards Cass, but where does all this come from?
It comes from y'all using the shittiest form of money on the goddamn face of the earth. Use Bitcoin. Michael Saylor's buying Bitcoin. He's not buying Casper. Wake up. The year's 2025.
Well, it sounds like you're a big fan of Sailor. If you want to send some money, you can send it to sailorsballs.cats, and
Hey,
that'd be great.
I've already sucked on that man's nuts.
Sorry, y'all. It's Casper Onion. I'm just
That was good, man. That was good.
That was
yeah.
that was
We
our
love you.
intermission there. Appreciate you coming on.
We love you.
Also,
We know this is Reject Finance.
also, Kara, are you a therapist in your day-to-day job?
I have a lot of psychology classes from
There we go.
college.
Okay, I knew it was somewhere.
She she's our therapist. We went back and forth on our inner Rajat voices, and it was a great time. We did that on Saturday afternoon. We all found our Rajat inner voices, and let off some steam. It's fun. It's fun and funny. I laugh at all the stuff that
Hey,
we get from them. You gotta laugh at it and just be like, okay, great. Let's go solve actual problems and stop talking
yeah.
about
Now,
it.
now I need to work on my Rajat voice.
Yeah,
Damn.
yeah. We all have one. That's what we discovered. It's like every single one of them have one. I
This angry, confused.
I'm trying to tell.
Yeah,
All you
fuck.
ever
This
need,
is the
all
best
you'll
one.
ever need, all you ever need is point 0.1 Bitcoin. And I'm telling you, point 0.1 Bitcoin. I know this with certainty. I know it with certainty. It will be worth $10 million by 2026. $10 million. We all have a Raja voice.
I love it.
He sounds exactly like him.
Fun times.
He's a visionary. He's a visionary.
If you want coffee, use fiat, right?
That's it. Right.
Use
I love.
So, Rajat, what are your thoughts on our smart contracts now that we have them? You can no longer say we don't have utility and that we don't have anything to bring to the table. What do you have to say about that?
Bro, Rajat doesn't even know what smart contracts are. If I have to be honest.
I believe that.
He did admit that the Cassia
Hey,
messaging
he,
is probably worth something. So at least he conceded that. I'll give him that.
That's true. That's true.
yeah, he said we're not
he'll,
not
he'll,
money. Maybe for messaging. Maybe that's it. Maybe it can be used for messaging, but not definitely not money.
yep.
Remember that.
Yeah, at least we're wearing him down.
We're a messaging platform only, and we're just use Visa. Just use Visa and have Michael Saylor and
Just use Visa. That's it. Yeah. All right.
Oh, God. All right, y'all. I'm done being Rajat. Hopefully this didn't disrupt y'all too much.
You're
No, it was
fine.
welcome. I
That was a
like it.
nice little breakup. We appreciate it.
I think I can only be Rajat for so long, and I start to feel sick, so I gotta go.
That's okay. And just so everyone knows, that's not a real impersonation. It's just parody, and we're just playing around. So
We're,
there's no impersonation, just parody.
we're just joking. I'm just a random guy on Twitter and blah 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 blah.
Do we have to give
Blah blah blah.
disclaimers? Do we have to give
We
disclaimers,
do.
Kara?
We have to give disclaimers because this is X, and we want to make sure we can stick around.
Oh, okay.
Kara.
I was like, wait a minute, Kara. Are you in the UK? Like, what's going on?
Right, right. Well, I
For
mean,
real.
unfortunately, my previous account was suspended permanently here on X, and it had 19,000 followers. So I have to do disclaimers just to make sure I don't get suspended again.
Why did you get suspended?
Because I have opinions.
Kara's got a voice.
Well, no, I mean we
I
all have
have
opinion.
a
I'm just. Did they cite you a reason?
No, there's no reason, but I know why. It's because I have a voice and they don't like that I came with receipts and came with newspaper clippings and was saying things that you're not supposed to say. There's just certain things you can't talk about on X.
Really?
And I said what I wanted to say, and I exposed people I wanted to expose who are at the tippity top, and expose what they were doing. And I came with nothing but facts, and they did not want that. So I got blocked, suspended, and this was before Elon bought it. And so after Elon bought it, I said, hey, can I have my account back since you reinstated Donald Trump and you reinstated General Flynn? And I
Mm-hmm.
started naming a bunch of names. You reinstated them? Will you reinstate me? No. So I'm out.
Well, that's unfortunate. I'm sorry that happened.
Yeah, so I that's why I do the disclaimers, and
Okay.
I pretty much just talk about Caspa, but before I used to talk about anything I wanted,
Yeah,
and now I
like you
don't.
live in America. Yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah. Well,
And I
Twitter before
yeah.
was yeah. Well, Twitter before was Twitter before, I guess.
Well, even Twitter after, everyone says that Elon is very pro free speech, but it was his department that refused to reinstate me. So that's what I have to say about that.
Was it his department or just one person?
They had a review.
Oh, okay.
They reviewed my account, is what they said, and they denied it.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, and I didn't break a single rule. I just have a voice and I'm powerful, and they just did not want that.
Hmm. Okay. All right. Hey, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I took one for the team. I considered a badge of honor. I was over the target. I don't regret it.
Well, hey, Kara, you know what you did get?
What's
You
that?
got a good story.
I
I
do.
know a lot of boring people that don't have a good story. You got a good story. Badge.
Oh,
There
yeah.
you go, girl.
It's true. It's true. Thank you. I appreciate that. It looks like we have someone requesting. Let's see who this is. It looks like it's crypto investor again. Let me go ahead and approve this and see if he wants to speak. And Cascat, um, what are your thoughts on some of these things that have been said?
Man, I don't know. My thought right now, I kind of joined a little bit late. So, but based on what you were just saying, about being banned and, limited speech, I see a parallels, to X and our banking system, right? Because it's the same thing, right? I mean, literally, if you don't comply with their rules, which change from administration to administration, they have custody of your money and they can do whatever the hell they want, right? Because
Yeah.
they own the bank. And so, yeah, that's why I'm here, right? Literally, I'm here because I wanted to come and run a node and stick it to the man, and support a decentralized network because uh, they did me wrong. And I thought, hey, man, I live in America. If I want to buy a miner using funds from my bank, I'm an American. It's my money. And boy, was I wrong, And so that opened my eyes to, the power that they hold over us and the need, if I want to secure my future, my family's future, to get involved in something solid in crypto. And, Caspa's the place to be, without a doubt. one other thing is I look at it like that, right? I mean, I look at it in the long term. So I don't see price action and all the other people go, oh, that's because it's down. It's been down for a year. But no, that's not the case. It's a long-term play. And, if you're sweating over what's going on here, the next quarter, even into the next half year, it may be painful because it is a fair launch token. There is no VC. There's nobody to manipulate it and pump it and market it, just like everything else out there. So, we're in the right place for the right reasons, and that's all I got to say.
I appreciate that. And thank you for saying that, Cascat. I'm actually here for the same reason. I got into Caspa because I wanted sovereignty. I wanted financial sovereignty. I wanted something that I could call my own because banks can debank and people have opinions and I have opinions. I have a voice. I don't enjoy being silenced. I don't like being censored. I love Caspa messaging because you cannot censor on there. That's specifically why I like it. And I love the idea of people being able to speak and have a voice. And in America, we're supposed to have a freedom of speech, but unfortunately, businesses control everything. And because businesses control everything, speech is controlled by commercial policy, not the Constitution. So we don't really get to use our voice. Not really. Not really. And I don't like that. I don't like the idea that people can be debanked for having wrong thought, wrong opinion, for saying double speak, or for refusing to use political correctness, or, not following the narratives of Mockingbird media. We're allowed to have opinions and they can be different. We can have discourse, but the problem is the people at the top, they don't want us to focus on them. They want us to focus on each other and bring our fight to each other. They want us to be against people and they create these narratives that we're supposed to go against this group or that group. But the real problem are the people who have their thumbs over our mouths. When someone puts their thumb over your mouth, over your ability to speak, you know who the real enemy is. And that bothers me. And so I like Caspa because it gives hope that one day we'll be able to have that power that the people have always wanted. So that's where I stand on that. Crypto investor, go ahead.
I do agree whatever you are saying, Cara. But one comment that I want to make that Buffalo Theory tried to mention about it, and I think regarding it was regular Joe who is asking about smart contracts. So Igra is not L1. Igra is still L2. It's the same as Casplex, but it's still on L2. Okay. The one that you are referring to is called Sparkle, and I don't think it's going to be launched until, I don't know, like 2026 maybe. I don't know. Igra is going to launch Q1 2025 2026. That's what you are referring to. But it's not the thing. But we, I mean, not buying from for regular Joe. The question is like buying from L1 or the CEX is not a problem. Like you can buy it from there, but just don't store your cash on the exchange. Just get it to your wallet. I don't know, like what you are mentioning. Like why don't you buy? Like cash buy, just buy from whatever the exchange is. What decentralized exchange you are talking about? That's one thing that I want to ask. But apart from that, like I do think you buy from regular from Casper because we are way past that or OTC, the over the counter trading. We are way past that, and we just buy from CEX and then store it in our wallets. Yes, I do agree that there are, because if you leave your tokens on an exchange, then they are going to manipulate. Yes, I do agree that. And I never have single cash on an exchange that is left behind that is not in my wallet. Yes, they do manipulate it. But Yes, to answer your question, I think Buffalo mentioned about Igra that is on L1, but no, Igra is on L2. The one that he was mentioning is on Sparkle. It's still after vprogs, and it's gonna have take some more time than what L1s are going to take.
Thank you for clarifying that for me, Crypto. I appreciate it.
No, no worries, man. No worries, man. Like people get confused between L1 and L2. I did had that confusion, and I had to look into the documents and stuff. So yes, it's good.
You want to respond to that, Buffalo? This might be more your lane, I think.
Sorry, specifically respond to.
To crypto investor?
Oh, I did. I thanked him about because I thought Igra was going to be layer one. So evidently I was wrong. That is kind of a bummer because I totally thought it was. I was like, sweet, we're going to have layer one smart contracts, great. But he just clarified.
Oh, many no, no, it's not your problem. Many people thought about that, and I did myself before. It's just like a more open source version of the smart contracts that are going to be launched. And they claim that they are going to launch their own nodes to test the smart contracts and all this stuff, which Flex didn't do so far. But essentially, it's the same thing on L2. It's basically an upgraded version of Casplex, if I would want to say that. It's not exactly, but yeah, if I want to say that.
Okay. Cara, there's something I wanted to respond to before we went over to Crypto Investor.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
You were talking about kind of, hey, this is America, this is free speech. And I agree with you. It sucks when you are silenced, but I think that kind of paves the way for maybe community-based or decentralized sites, let's say social media sites, things like that, things that I think, if I'm not wrong, are being built on Caspa right now, which I think is really, really rad.
Yeah, there's two that I know of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But I think, I mean, it is unfortunate that they can be like, oh, well, you can't talk or you can't talk into the space. And I kind of look at these websites like Instagram or Facebook or X. I mean, these are business owned and operated. So I get that they have that control. But what's unfortunate is when they're like, oh, this is free speech, and then they take that away, right?
Yeah, especially when they Elon created a narrative that we're a town space, that we are the town center, and that's not accurate.
Mm-hmm. Well, have you had
That's what bothers me.
any warnings or bans since he took over?
Just with the account that wasn't reinstated.
But that was a ban before, right? They just didn't reinstate it.
They just didn't reinstate
Okay,
it,
I
correct?
almost want you to make an account and start pushing the boundaries of something else, and just see if it gets kicked. I would totally watch that show.
Well, it's not Caspa related.
No, I know.
And so it wouldn't really appeal to this. It's just me being very opinionated and just holding nothing back. But here's the problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't just get suspended. I was I was really over the target. So I was facing some real life repercussions that made me afraid and made me want to not talk. Because when I say I took some bullets, it took some, like a badge of honor. I took a bullet for the team. I really did. I'm still recovering. It may not have been a literal bullet, but it took me down. And I know I was over the target because they're the ones that control the whole world.
Yeah.
And they have the ability to do whatever they want.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew what I was doing. I was poking the bear.
Yeah.
And now I am not poking the bear. I have a child and I want to make sure both of us are safe.
Mm-hmm.
And so I am just walking the straight and narrow and just acknowledging that they have a way to destroy me if they want.
Oh yeah.
And they know what they did to me. So I'm just living with that.
Yeah.
And I feel silenced and I don't like it.
I understand. I mean, I don't know the specifics, but that is unfortunate. And it is unfortunate. I mean, this is the system we live in. You know.
Yeah, exactly. And I tried to play by the rules. I was posting old newspaper clippings.
Hmm.
I was posting things that were pure fact. I wasn't even posting the opinions. I thought my opinions would be what they got me for, but it was for facts. And that's what bothers me is I was showing facts, but they don't want it exposed. They don't want people to know.
Yeah.
And I know, and I guess I'm supposed to just keep it to myself, I guess.
Well, when it's not their narrative that they're pushing, they're they're not going to be okay with it, right? And when it goes
Right.
against what they want to accomplish, when they have the power, they have the money, they have the manpower, they have whatever, they have all these things that are disposal to hurt people. It makes sense
Yeah.
that that's what they're going to do.
You know, they blackmail people to keep them silent. And so when someone tries to expose what that blackmail might be, you can't do that. You know, they don't want that. There's real stuff at stake,
Hmm.
and people die over it,
Oh,
and I don't want to die over it. So I've just stayed quiet, but I can't, I'm furious that I'm having to deal with some consequences of that. I don't like that. I wish I could speak without consequence, but that is not the world we live
that is,
in.
well, to be fair, Kara, no one can. Just
Right?
saying, like if somebody mouths off to me, I can't ensure their safety. You know what I mean? It's just in life,
Yeah.
like there's going to be consequences
Yeah.
for whatever we say. Um, does the punishment fit the crime? Probably not in your situation, but I mean, especially if you're just speaking facts. Um,
Yeah, and here's the good news though. One thing that me getting suspended did for my self-esteem and my confidence, I've never doubted my voice or my power ever again because I know that I was so powerful that they had to come after
yeah,
me. I was not a nobody, and I love that.
yeah,
I love that.
I think that's great. I think that's
I
awesome.
never, I never doubt. I never say to myself like I used to. I never say things like, what I say doesn't matter.
Mhm.
My voice doesn't matter. It doesn't count. I don't believe that. Not at all. And so I did learn from that. And it did give me a sense of knowing who I am. But it also gave me a sense of discernment. Do I need to say this?
Good.
What are the consequences going to be if I do?
Well,
Right?
I think that that is fantastic growth. And with that confidence, I just want to say that I appreciate you being in the Casper community because of what you share and opening these up like this blockchain banter and being a part of it. And yes, don't ever think that your voice doesn't matter. So we appreciate you being in the Casper community. I just wanted to make that clear.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I
I sec
do.
I second that. I second what Buffalo says, and I do have a question though, Kara. So did all that happen before Caspa or during Caspa?
Yeah. Yeah,
Before.
it happened. It
Yeah.
happened it happened around the last it happened with the election with Biden when they were still
Right.
undecided
When
on the winner.
all that was going down, yeah. And
Yeah.
I think your story speaks to the importance of what's being built and why we're lucky to have somebody like you with a voice speaking on the things that are important in what we're building. And I think this speaks to the people that are listening to this, all of you guys chiming in here, seeing really what's beneath the surface of what is being built here. It speaks to why we're on this blockchain banter. We're, there's so many, and Caspa Cat brought it up. This is such a reflection of this control system that really does try to silence you. And there's so many people out there that don't have, they want to have the voice, but they're not Kara, they're not myself, they're not you guys. So it's important that that energy is brought every single day, and that we keep building these platforms so that people can free themselves. And I think it speaks to projects like Vivor. I know there's also other social media platforms that are trying to be launched. I think K was one that was trying to be launched on Caspa, but that there continues to be this innovation because we, you know, we're in, all we've known is this control system, right? All we've known is that. And some of us know how to play the game. Some of us know how to have the discernment. And I think it's important to have that and to understand that. But we've kind of not had an option. And now we have options. And that's what's happening now. So as long as we continue to see the light, shine the light, and speak up. Yeah, we're on Twitter now, but hopefully this is something we're doing something like this years from now, and it's powered by Caspa, and we're not silenced.
Amen to that.
So it
Yeah,
speaks to all that. So I just
yeah.
wanted to bring that to light, because that's what this is about. That's why we're having these conversations.
And that's why I love Caspa, and that's why I love the people in Caspa because we all have that in common. We all want to have that sense of freedom. That's what this is about. Financial freedom. It's about having our voice. It's about having the option to have decentralized technology across several different use cases, right? And having that is what this is all about. And we get to do it with early. We're here early. So this is a
Ooh,
huge
so
opportunity for
early,
all of us to make money.
so
So this
early.
is a huge prosperity windfall coming our way. And those of us that are here early are the ones who are going to really do well. And a lot of us talk about it all the time because we're so enthusiastic. We want others to experience that windfall with us. And I think it's beautiful. And I love that there's so many people that feel this way. I really do.
Yeah, yeah. Speaking to us being early, that's why there's, I appreciate all the speakers that have come up, and, regular Joe, you talking about how you're new to this and you're questioning things. I think those questions are great. You should say that, and you should want things to happen now. At the same time, understand that this is a network that's a protocol that's being built from the ground up. There isn't any VC backing. Like, we are the voices, we are the community. We're the builders. We're the ones that are going to speak up on how this has to happen, and it's gonna look tough. It's gonna look hard, and I mean, in my life has been an example of defying odds from the beginning. I've shared this before, and I'll share it really quickly. But I'm a foster kid. I was a teenager. I had to divorce my parents, and I was a defensive lineman who eventually became a quarterback, a starting quarterback in high school. Then I took that into college, and then it was like, oh yeah, you're probably not going to do this. And then I built a business, and I'm the first to do a lot in my family. And I know that it wasn't just me. It took people around me to remind me of that light that I had within me, and that's what we should be doing for each other and speaking on, because everything you're all early. Like, you guys are all the people in your families that are going to lift them up and have them see this. And it's as silly as it may sound, that it's always this Casper thing, this decentralized protocol, that really, yeah, really. So we're early. We're super early. We have to have patience, and continue to push to move the needle forward. So that's
Yeah,
where we're
I
at.
love that.
That's how I see it.
yeah,
And I love
amen
that
to
you
all
did
of
that
that.
in your family. Oh, go ahead, Buffalo.
No, so sorry, this is script master. So yeah, amen to all of that.
Oh,
And
sorry.
the thing is, like, the use cases you said, the main use case for CAS is peer-to-peer transaction, like a cryptocurrency for peer-to-peer CAS. So additional on top of that, whether it is like using smart contracts or using the actual throughput on L1, that's an added bonus. But the main use case we want to actually address is peer-to-peer electronic cash system. And on top of that, yes, we do have additional features which can happen on L1 itself. Hopefully Sparkle goes through and then everything happens on L1. Mm, Miners happy, network security, everything is okay. That nothing Bitcoin has ever envisioned that will happen on L1 will happen. Everything on Casper L1, and I think will be the most uh, um, beneficial thing for the crypto in general space. And then, like you said, like down the line, whether it's an our bloodline or let's say my kids or like your kids or anyone down the line, like next 100 years, they will only see Casper oh, this is the best crypto and everything. Then like I know that you don't like it, but that will eventually happen if this adoption is going to happen in this way, and the progression is going to happen on this way on Casper. It will be, or it could be the ultimate crypto that anyone envisioned. With that, I think I'll take a leave, but
Thank you so much for that. And I agree. I think it's going to be the best that there can be. And Caspa is going to offer so much. In my view, it's the perfect money. It's the perfect P2P currency. I don't know of anything better out there. I really don't. And that's what brings us here. A lot of us see Caspa for what it is and what it offers, and it's really beautiful. And I'm glad that we're early, and I'm glad that all of us here see that. Juan, I want to hear some of your last minute. I can't even say it, but you have a spiel, and I'm curious. I can't even say it. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, what do you mean? My last minute what?
How did you do it last time? You had a
Oh, the way I wound it down, like the yeah, my little phrase that I say at the end.
yeah. I don't even know what do we call that. What is that?
It's like a tagline. I say
The
it.
sign off.
Yeah, like a sign off. Yeah,
I
that
do, but I wanted to
you
segue
don't
into that
have one.
because
I
I
came
love
up with a
that.
new. I came
It's
up
so
with a.
beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. You should come up with one so we can sign off. So
Dude, I love yours. It's so amazing.
I'm gonna add a one in there too. So so we're
Please.
wrapping this up. We're wrapping it up. Just confirming that we're gonna wrap this up. We're wrapping it
Oh
up.
yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
cool. All right.
Hey,
Um, we're not gonna go
You have the
full
floor.
5 hours like we did last time. No, I'm kidding. Okay, no, it's midnight over here, a little bit before 12:30. So yeah, again, I want to thank all the speakers, everybody who contributed to the conversation tonight. That's what this is about. It's about giving everybody a voice, asking the questions, the tough questions. It's super important that we just continue the conversation. It's a pleasure running this new show, extending blockchain banter, what the guys have been doing overseas for the past year and a half. We're excited to continue building. So again, thanks for all the info that we got, the alpha here, and keeping the conversation going. That's again what this is all about. So with that said, the tagline is what I like to say is it's one conversation at a time. Be humble, be kind. Caspa is vibrating at the frequency of truth seekers, and the truth is catching on. And for this show, I have a new one. So this is the one I want to sign off with from now on. But it's blockchain banter flowing beneath the surface of blockchain, where Caspa carries the current of truth.
I like that.
That is beautiful. I love that. Juan, that's beautiful. And you deliver that with so much grace and
good
positivity.
one.
And I'm so glad that we got to have a very successful episode too. Thank you to all of our speakers and our listeners. Thank you, Juan, for being a great co-host. And we look forward to seeing everybody next Wednesday night.
Have a good night, everybody.
We'll see you guys.
Good
Good night.
night.